Welcome students to lesson 11 of the Living World topic. In this lesson we're going to begin our case study of a famous rainforest in the world. That rainforest is found in a country called Malaysia in Southeast Asia. I'm going to tell you about the rainforest, about its biodiversity, and about the threats to it and what we can do about it. In this lesson I'm going to explore the causes of deforestation in the Malaysian rainforest, so you understand why such a beautiful, important ecosystem could be damaged. Please take a moment to write the date, title and learning objective, and have a pen and paper ready to learn. Time to review prior learning. Please write 1 to 10, answer the questions from memory, and then mark your answers. Go for it. Number 1. Buttress roots help to support tall trees in rainforests. 2. The emergent layer is the highest layer in the rainforest. 3. Rainforests are said to be stratified, which means they have layers. 4. The highest density of leaves and branches in rainforests is found in the mid-canopy layer. 5. Soils are infertile in rainforests because the nutrients are cycled quickly through the soil and into vegetation. 6. Infertile rainforest soils filled with iron are called latisols. 7. A plant that has no roots and uses trees to enable it to reach higher up in a rainforest is called an epiphyte. 8. A keystone species is very important in an ecosystem, and removing it can significantly reduce biodiversity. 9. Crossrail is a railway project that will connect Reading to London and improve access by public transport. 10. A science park is a cluster of high-tech companies, usually near universities, that benefit from collaboration, working together, and their location, near transport. Give yourselves a mark out of 10. If you got 8 or above, excellent. Make sure that you write any questions you got wrong and their answers, and then test yourselves on these repeatedly. Well done. To introduce the idea of deforestation, I'm going to show you a photo, and then I'm going to show you some questions. This will help you to understand and get a picture in your minds of what we're talking about. Answer the questions using your understanding and then we will discuss them. Go for it. Here's the photo showing deforestation in Malaysia. Okay, attempt the questions. So number 1. What is this photo showing? What exactly is deforestation? Well, you should have said that deforestation means the chopping down of trees, like you see here. 2. Why would people want to chop down rainforests? If you know that rainforests are important, for example the fact that they are a carbon sink, they absorb carbon dioxide and so mitigate climate change, if you know that they are that important, then why would you chop them down? Well, the answer is money. There has to be an economic reason, otherwise people would not do it. So as you will find in the case study of Malaysia, there is a very strong economic reason. 3. Why does deforestation happen faster in poorer countries? Well, in poorer countries, the primary sector is often the largest, meaning that agriculture, which requires lots of space, is important, threatening rainforests. Additionally, mining is significant in poorer countries. Finally, in poorer countries, people often lack the skills to get urban jobs, which require less space. Consequently, in their desperate state and need to make money, they chop down rainforests. 4. What problems can you think of that deforestation, like you see in this photo, might cause? You will see the problems this causes in future lessons, but I'm going to introduce you to some ideas. Deforestation causes water pollution. It causes climate change, it causes forest fires, and it causes a loss of medicines for human beings around the world. I'm going to show you why in future lessons, but it's important to understand that rainforests matter. So in this lesson, you're going to understand 2 questions. Number 1, the introduction to Malaysia. Where is Malaysia? What's it like? And number 2, what is causing deforestation in Malaysia? So, let's go. Get ready. So, subtitle please. An introduction to Malaysia. Make sure you write this, underline it with a ruler. Malaysia is an island country in Southeast Asia. It is made up of 2 parts, but it's spread over 2 islands in southeast of Asia here. It's flanked to the left by the Indian Ocean and to the right or the east by the Pacific Ocean. In our case study of natural hazards and typhoons, we learn about Philippines. That's this country here. So Malaysia is near there. To zoom in, here is what Malaysia looks like itself. And here are the key features that you need to know about. The richest and most important island and part of Malaysia is called the Malay Peninsula here. And the capital city, Kuala Lumpur, is located there. Most of the rich people live there in Malaysia. But most of the deforestation in Malaysia is happening on this island that you see here, called Borneo. Borneo is separated in 2. The southern part of Borneo is owned by a country called Indonesia, and the northern part by Malaysia and a tiny country called Brunei. There are 2 sections of Malaysian Borneo. On the west you have Sarawak. This is this large section here. We will be looking at this in a lot more detail. And in the east here is the section called Sabah. Both are significant and both are suffering from deforestation because both have rainforests. Okay. Malaysia is also a NEE, a newly emerging economy. Let me show you why this is important. Malaysia's ecosystems. If you remember, this ecosystem located along the equator is tropical rainforest, and Malaysia is entirely covered by that biome, tropical rainforests. Here. It has extremely high biodiversity. In fact, it's called a biodiversity hotspot because it has more species of plants and animals than almost any other place in the world. There are more than 150,000 species of insects and other small creatures, more than 500 species of mammals and 700 species of birds. It is an enormously biodiverse place. There are more than 3,000 species of tree in Malaysia, these small islands. The most famous animal, possibly, is the orangutan. What about Malaysia's economy? This is a tree map, which we encountered when looking at Nigeria, that shows the exports, the products that Malaysia sells. Each colour represents a different type of product. For example, dark brown is oil and things relating to oil. Light blue relates to anything electronic equipment, like computers and calculators and other kinds of technology. These are chemicals in pink. This is wood, the red. From this tree map, you should be able to see that Malaysia is a diverse economy, which means that people have jobs in many different sectors. Consequently, they sell different types of products. Malaysia is not dependent on any single product, unlike Nigeria or Jamaica. Malaysia, therefore, is a NEE. It has a high urban population because people have moved to cities to get jobs in the secondary and tertiary sectors. It has, as a result, a very rapidly growing economy. People are 3 times richer than they were in the year 2000. They now make $11,000 a year, which is only a quarter of the UK, but it's 3 times more than they made in 2000, so that is a significant increase in income for people. The key idea that you need to know is this. Malaysia has rainforest ecosystems, and it makes a large amount of its money from products that come from either underneath rainforests or from the rainforests themselves, and that is the main reason why the rainforests of Malaysia are under threat. For example, one of Malaysia's biggest exports is a product called palm oil. Let me show you why this is a problem. Subtitle: What are the causes of Malaysia's deforestation? The main cause of deforestation is the need to make money, which leads to economic growth. The government of a country is trying to help people become richer because that will improve their quality of life, as they can buy better healthcare and education and better homes. However, in order to make money, they need to be able to sell products or do some work. Rainforests have value, and they can be used to make money. Consequently, economic growth is a cause of deforestation. This blue line shows Malaysia's GDP over the last 50 years. It has increased rapidly. The gross domestic product, the total amount of money that is being made in a country, has increased rapidly. In the year 2000, Malaysia had less than $100 billion in its GDP. Today, it's almost $300 billion. People are significantly richer. A lot of this money comes from the primary sector. For example, palm oil. Now, palm oil is an oil that comes from a tree called the palm tree, a specific type of palm tree. And here's why this causes deforestation. Palm trees are grown in large areas of land called plantations. And when you plant lots of trees like this, just one type of tree, that's called a plantation. In order to plant these trees, the Malaysian government and the Malaysian people had to deforest a lot of the rainforest. This type of plantation is called a monoculture because it only has one species of vegetation. Malaysia is the second biggest exporter of palm oil in the world. It makes almost $5 billion a year from selling it. Now, why is palm oil so important? You get it from a big fruit that exists just at the center of this fruit here, the palm oil, and it comes from a tree that looks like this. Why is it important? Because palm oil is used in more than 400 different products around the world, and every day you watching this video will have used it in toothpaste or ice cream or butter or chocolate or cleaning products or creams or lipstick. Hundreds of products use palm oil around the world, and so the demand for palm oil from HICs is very high. Consequently, Malaysia can make a lot of money from growing palm trees and exporting palm oil. And that has led to a rapid increase in the rate of deforestation in Malaysia over the last 40 years. Additionally, another area of great demand from HICs around the world is for metals. One metal in particular Malaysia exports is tin. Tin has to be mined in huge holes underground called open pit mining. It looks like this. In order to dig a mine like this, massive deforestation is required. On the island of Borneo and the Malaysian region of Sarawak, tin mining is very important and has led to the destruction of a significant amount of rainforest. It leads to high incomes for the people and the companies doing the mining, but it damages the biodiversity of the forest. So the first cause of Malaysia's deforestation is economic growth, which has been focused in the past on the primary sector: agriculture for palm oil and mining for tin. Additionally, economic growth has also been produced by logging. Logging means chopping down trees to sell the wood and use the wood. If you look around you now, you may see furniture that is made of wood. If it is a dark brown colour, it comes from rainforest trees called tropical hardwoods. They're hard because they're very dense, they're very heavy, and guess what? They're hard. Logging in Malaysia is an important industry. It makes a lot of money. While it only accounts for 2% of Malaysia's GDP, it is still significant, and it is one of the biggest causes of deforestation in the country, with thousands of trees being chopped down every single year to be sold for money. That is called logging. And as you see here, this red section of Malaysia's exports, logging is an important part of the economy. But it's not only the economy that has grown, it is also the population, and that is another significant cause. Population growth in Malaysia. The population of Malaysia has more than doubled in the past 50 years. It is now increasing at a rate of about 2% every year. Why is that a problem for Malaysia's rainforests? Well, the first reason is energy demand. When people have homes, they need electricity. When people have businesses and manufacturing, that needs electricity. Consequently, Malaysia has had to find ways of providing that electricity, and one way is through hydroelectricity. Malaysia has lots of rivers on its islands. On the island of Borneo, through Sarawak, a huge dam called the Bakun Dam was built and completed in 2011. It led to the flooding of an area of rainforest half the size of London, killing thousands of species that live there, destroying habitat. For the construction of this dam, another area of land had to be chopped down that was a quarter of the size of London. So electricity for the growing population is another important cause. This dam, it was thought, would provide electricity for the people and enable development and enable people to get better education and healthcare, but at the same time it caused damage to local ecosystems, the rainforest. Additionally, people need a place to live. And when cities get bigger and their populations get bigger, they spread out. That is called urban sprawl. Kuala Lumpur, here the capital city, is many times bigger than it was even 10 years ago. As a result, the forest that used to surround it has been chopped down, deforested to make way for new housing and roads. So Malaysia's population growth and its economic growth are the main causes of deforestation in the country today. Okay, time to assess learning. Answer the questions as I say them, either in your books or say them aloud, and then I will discuss the answers. Okay, question 1. How can you tell from Malaysia's exports, its tree map, that it is an NEE? Well, you should have said that Malaysia clearly has a diverse economy, which is typical of a NEE that is invested in many sectors. In investment, in infrastructure, in education, and in healthcare. This has led to investment from countries and companies around the world, creating new industries and new exports. Additionally, Malaysia's GDP per capita, $11,000 per year, is typical of a NEE. Question 2. Why did the government of Malaysia think that building the Bakun Dam was worth the environmental damage? Well, the hydroelectricity dam, the Bakun Dam, provided reliable, cheap electricity that was also renewable, so it doesn't produce CO2. Additionally, because the increased demand from the higher population and the manufacturing, the Bakun Dam was really important to supply that electricity. And since economic growth is so important to Malaysia and to any country, that was the reason. Question 3. Why do you think logging still happens in parts of Malaysia, even if it's been banned? Well, you should have said that logging would happen in parts of Malaysia even if it had been banned, because people don't have any other choice and any other way of making money. They are desperate. In countries where there is poverty, people choose whatever source of income they can find, even if that means damaging the environment. Okay, time to embed learning. I'm going to show you some questions. Answer them using your understanding and then mark your answers using my mark scheme. Make sure you write in green pen any parts that you've missed. Go for it. So number 1, what is a diversified economy? 2, explain using evidence how you can tell Malaysia is a NEE. Manufacture products, many different types of products, and also GDP per capita $11,000. Describe the change in Malaysia's economic growth between 1980 and 2012. You may have to look back at the graph showing Malaysia's economic growth for this. So remember, for describe the change and using a graph question, you need to talk about the pattern, so increase, decrease, and how fast, and give numbers. Four, outline 2 causes of deforestation in Malaysia. So say what they are and say why they happen. Economic growth, and then give examples. and then population growth, and give examples. 5. Suggest why Malaysia decided constructing the Bakun Dam was worth the environmental damage. So you need to talk about why it needs electricity, you need to talk about the benefits of hydroelectricity, and therefore why they thought that that was more important than damaging the environment. Please add up your score out of the total and give yourself a mark. Make sure that you've added in green pen any parts of this that you've missed, so that you improve next time. Okay, from the lesson, write 2 questions, answer them from memory, and then test yourselves on those questions in a week. Thank you so much for joining me in this lesson, and well done. Next lesson, we're going to be looking at why deforestation of the rainforest is such a problem. If it didn't cause any damage to the environment or to people, we wouldn't care about it, but it does. So join me then to find out how.